Alright, Shalom.
First and foremost, before we begin this video, we like to give all praises, all glory, and all honor
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash.
Giving double honors unto the elders and apostles from great men soon from Allah Apostle Taha, come all the way down. A shalom to the 144,000 chosen men. A shalom to the elect men, women, and children who we surely shown grace in these trying times. There's a couple of brothers here, Brother Hanan,
And Brother Maya Shala.
Tonight we're going to get into here from Salafi's brothers on the hills of Yahweh Shai camp, and tonight we're getting into here is things, or I should say more things we know about the coming of the Lord. They are the coming of the Lord.
Right, because what? Originally we'd have already did a video on this topic, and again we said we had more points we could make. Again, when you look up that word or that term, day of the Lord, right? It appears when you press exact phrase. That exact phrase is stated 29 times in the Bible. That includes Old Testament, New Testament, and Apocrypha, right? So it's right. So what the day of the Lord is a topic widely talked about in the Bible, and what we're gonna bring out more things we know that gonna happen on that day, or things we also know about that day, right? Because again, we know in part and we prophesy in part, right?
The power also appears 2 times in the scriptures as well.
Right? So again, we know in part, we prophesy in part. So we don't know everything that's gonna go on this day, but what we know a good bit, right? And we also know a lot about this day. We don't know everything about it, but we know a good bit, right? And there's one thing we know about. We know that this day is a day that is in his heart, or what? It's constantly on his mind. He thinks about it, right? If you could give me Jeremiah 23:30.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse
Sorry, verse 20, Salakia.
Verse 20, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 20. The anger.
In fact, Salakia, if you could give me it from verse 18.
Jeremiah 23 and verse 18. For who had stood in the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, and had perceived and heard his word, who had marked his word and heard it. Behold, a whirlwind of the Lord Yahweh is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked.
Ooh, yeah.
Verse 20, the anger of the Lord Yahweh shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart.
The thoughts of his heart, or what the intents in his mind, right? The things that he ponders, what Yahweh ponders, he's not going to return from it. He's not going to decide, I've done enough until what?
In the
till he have performed it, right? Go ahead.
The thoughts of his heart. In the latter days he shall consider it perfect.
If you could give me Jeremiah 30 and the last verse.
This is the book of Jeremiah 30 and verse 24. The fierce anger of the Lord Yahweh shall not return until he have done it, until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days he shall consider it.
And what is it he's going to perform? He's going to perform a lot of mighty acts on a day, an event we know as what? The day of Yahweh, right? If you could give me Revelation 1 and 7.
Book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 7.
Because what we know, this is also a day that is in the heart or in the mind of his son as well. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen.
So why make mention of those which also pierced them? The Lord, again, he knoweth how to preserve the wicked unto the day of this destruction, right? The Lord is literally keeping the men who were responsible for putting Yahweh Shai to death alive until Yahweh Shai returns and they see him. So what? You best believe Yahweh Shai itching at the chance to get off that seat where the Lord told them to sit down and get down here and start busting heads, right? So what? The day of Yahweh is in the heart of Yahweh, and it's in the heart of Yahweh Shai. If you could give me Isaiah 42 and verse 13.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 13. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man, He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war.
Right, mighty man, because what we know, Yahweh is the Almighty, and Yahweh Shai, Isaiah 9 and 6, he was called the mighty power, right? He even made mention of Isaiah 47, I will not meet thee as a man. So he coming back here, and he coming back here to fuck real shit up. Go ahead.
Back in what the steed of his father.
Right, instead of his father, correct?
He shall cry a roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. I have a long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once.
Bang, go ahead.
I will make waste mountain and hills, and dry up all their herbs, and I will make the rivers islands. I will dry up the pools.
So what the day of the Lord is in it's in his mind, right? And he's patiently waiting for what again. He by measure he measured the times, and by number the times. He doth not move nor stir them until what he said measure be fulfilled. Yahweh shall say, no, nothing in any wise shall pass from the law, right, until all these words be fulfilled. So what both of them waiting to see the fulfillment and culmination of the prophecies and of the story that they wrote, right, for them to get a time now to play the role. Again, we know the day of the Lord ultimately, as we would have went into in verse 1, sorry, in part 1 of this video, right, or part 1 of this series, we made mention of what? It's the day when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai will be magnified. Yahweh will be known as the one true power. Yahweh Shai will be known as the Lord of this earth. He will rightfully get his inheritance that he had from his father, right, the dominion of the earth, right, the uttermost parts of the earth for his possession, the hidden for thine inheritance. So what we know, both of them constantly thinking about this day. That is all they could think about, right? But what else we know about this day? It is the day of judgment of Esau, Edom, and the other nations. If you could give me Zephaniah 3:8.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 8.
Right.
Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, until the day that I rise up to the prey.
Right, until the day. So there's a specific day that the Lord plans to rise against these nations. Go ahead.
For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy.
Bang, right? So what the Lord waiting for that day, because what that is the day when the heathens and Esau, Edom will have their asses handed to them, right? There is, if you could give me Isaiah 34.
Look at Isaiah chapter 34, verse 4.
No, from 1 come.
From 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Book Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all the things that come forth of it.
So every man jack. Go ahead.
For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is upon all nations.
All nations, including his own as well. Let me not forget that, right? But we specifically honing in as always on who? Esau, Edom, and the heathen nations, right? Go ahead.
And his fury is upon their armies. He had utterly destroyed them. He had delivered them to the slaughter.
Go ahead.
Their slain also shall be cast out, and their sting shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
Right.
And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my cursed judgment.
Right. Sword, speaking of the nukes, right? The fire, because again, going later into the series, you'll even explain that the day of the Lord is a day of fire, right? But go ahead.
The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, with the blood of lambs and goats.
Right, so Israelites and heathens.
With the fat of the kidneys of rams.
Right.
For the Lord had a sacrifice in Bozrah.
Right, the chief city of Edom. Read Isaiah 63 again. The day of the Lord is in the heart of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? when you go into that Isaiah 63, where did it say he came from? He came from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah. So he went straight to Edom, and then he went through the earth conquering and to conquer, right? Go ahead.
And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, and the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness.
Right.
For it is the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion.
So what the day of the Lord is the day that Esau will receive his judgment. If you could give me that Ezekiel 35. Sorry, Ezekiel 30:15. Is it 30:15? No, sorry, 35:15.
Yeah, 35. I think it should start from 14, 15. Okay. Ezekiel 35 and verse 15. As thou didst rejoice in the inheritance of the house of Israel.
Right, scriptures make mention of a bastard shall dwell in Asher. They have appointed my land into their possession with a spiteful mind to cast it out for a prey. Right, they have parted my land, right? So the Lord made mention of these things in the scriptures. These people stole his land, right? Go ahead.
Because it was desolate, so I will do unto thee. So that because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Right, so the day that he plans to fulfill these words that he had said, again, his words will not return unto him void as well. The day of Yahweh, if you could give me Joel 3. Again, this is the day where the Lord is going to judge these nations. Right, Joel 3 from 9.
Book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
Right.
Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
And we know that's already speaking about the heathen nations, Israel, the true Israelites, right? Predominantly the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. We don't have an army or any military might in the earth, so this can't be talking about we. Right, go ahead.
Let them come in. So like, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong.
Right.
Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Right.
Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat.
Right, Yahweh's judgment.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great.
Right.
Multitudes
Of the heathens, Esau, and begin with Esau and then go on down.
in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near in the valley of decision.
Right, the day of the Lord is near, and it's in the valley of decision, right? And he's going to judge these heathens. If you could give me one more, Ezekiel 30, read from verse 1.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 30, and verse 1.
And you could just read, till verse 5.
Okay. The word of the Lord Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus say the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai power, holy, woe with the day.
Right.
For the day is near, even the day of the Lord Yahweh is near. A cloudy day, it shall be the time of the heathen. And the sword shall come upon Egypt,
Right.
and great pain shall be in Ethiopia,
Right.
when the slain shall fall in Egypt.
Right.
And they shall take away her multitudes, and her foundations shall be broken down.
Right.
Ethiopia and Libya, and Lydia, and all the mingled people, and Chub, and the men of the land that is in league, shall fall with them by the sword.
Right.
Verse 6.
You could read verse 6. In fact, you could even read till verse 7.
Thus say the Lord.
In fact, Salak, you could even read till verse 8. Yeah, verse 8.
Verse 6, thus say the Lord Yahweh, they also that uphold Egypt shall fall, and the pride of her power shall come down. From the tower of Sain shall they fall in it by the sword, said Adonai Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And they shall be desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and the cities shall be in the midst of the cities that are waste. that are wasted to water. And they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh when I have set a fire in Egypt, and when all her helpers shall be destroyed.
So what it is the day where the Lord is going to recompense all these nations, chiefly speaking about Esau, Edom, then go on down with all the nations who came against Jerusalem. Right? What else we know about the day of the Lord? It is the first day of hunting season. Right? If you could give me that Jeremiah 16.
Jeremiah 16. From 16.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeremiah 16 and 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, say the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters,
Right.
and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes.
Right, if you could give me now.
Amo.
So, go ahead.
And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with carcasses of their detestable and abominable things.
Right, well, even if you could give me now Amos 9 and 13. In fact, I'll read that if you could give me Zechariah 12 from verse 8. There's Amos 9 and verse 13. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. But who is the plowman speaking about here? What? The Israelites, mainly speaking of the prophets again. Yahweh shall say, if a man pick it up his plow, and then turn back. If he turn back from the plow, he's not worthy of the kingdom of heaven.
Not fit for the kingdom.
Right, so that is the whole point right there.
Picking up his plow and looking back is not
Fit for the kingdom of heaven, right? So who's the plowman? How to be speaking about the Israelite prophets?
Because
Who's
all
the
the-
reapers? All the people who have devoured us. Go ahead.
You know, when you go into a plowman is what somebody would be doing all the hard work and doing, because this is what the ones who benefiting from it.
Ah.
As you see it at the earth right now. Israelites working their ass off, and what all the other nations getting the best of we labor.
Right, with what nation had not gotten off or spoil, right? Well, these nations benefit off of the slavery of the Israelites. The book of Zechariah 12, reading from verse 8. In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as power as the angel of Yahweh before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. So what this day, the day of the Lord, that's gonna be the first day that the nation of Israel gonna get to put their hands on the slave masters, right? If you could give me Wisdom of Solomon 3, verse 6.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 6. As gold in the furnace had he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering.
Right, speaking again of the Israelites, the prophets, mainly the martyrs, as you read in Revelation, the book of Revelation, it tells you of the martyrs, right? They who love not their lives unto death. Go ahead.
And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble.
Right, go ahead.
They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever.
Boom, right? That is it right there. We, Lord willing, we be these men. And in fact, the entire nation, the entire people of the nation of Israel are going to get the chance to put their hands on these nations. What every one of them, that day in which the nation of Israel are going to get the chance to put their hands on the nations of the earth, that day is going to start in the day of Yahweh, right?
Look at Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 14. Straight. I can't remember which piece of it was. Yeah, Ezekiel 25. Are you from 12?
Yeah.
Are you from 12? Yeah. Ezekiel 25 and verse 12. That say the Lord are the one Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah, I taken vengeance, and had greatly offended, and avenged himself upon them. Therefore thus saith Adonai Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and their Dedan shall fall by the sword. I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
Right, by the hands of the Israelites. So the Israelites gonna be able to what exactly? Vengeance of the Lord upon these nations. Go ahead.
According to mine anger and according to my fury, Salak, by the hand of my people Israel, and I shall do in Edom according to my anger, according to my fury, and I shall know my vengeance, saith Adonai Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Go ahead, you can read down till 17.
Thus saith the Lord Adonai Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge, and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore thus saith Adonai Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, I will stretch out my hand upon the Philistines, and cut off the Cherethims, and destroy the remnant of the sea coast. I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and I shall lay my vengeance upon them.
So what? The hunt begins, and it will begin what? In the day of Yahweh. Right, again, we're going to get a taste of Jacob's trouble here, but the entire nation of the entirety of the nation of Israel gonna start judgment on these nations, gonna start that day Yahweh shall return, give him in spiritual power, and he tell go and get them out the bunkers. See, from that day, that is when the shit start. And what? So since we know it's the day when the nation of Israel gonna the hunting season gonna begin for the nation of Israel upon these nations, right? It's also the first day in your 1,000 years of slavery, right? Give me that Revelation 20, verse 4.
Revelation 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with a Mashiach 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. And this is the first resurrection.
Right, so this 1,000 years speaks of the 1,000 years of the initial reign and rule of Yahweh Shai, of establishing order, judgment, and justice in the earth. Isaiah 9 again. He will establish his kingdom with justice and judgment from henceforth. The zeal of the Lord Yahweh will perform this. That starts when he returns, the day of the Lord. Right, if you could give me Psalms 149.
Look at Psalm chapter 149 and
5.
5. Let the saints be joyful in glory, let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people.
So the question would be this. In fact, you could read down.
To bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written.
When are they going to do this? At what day and at what time are they going to do this? Again, when Yahweh Shai returns, the day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the day of the Lord. This is when this is going to start. Go ahead.
This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Right? Again, we know that Ezekiel 39:14. Right? Reading real quick. And they shall serve out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. Let the dead bury their dead. Right? The rest of the dead live not until the 1,000 years were expired. After the end of 7 months shall they search. So what? We understand that the first day in which these people are going to be what? Employed is what? The day of Yahweh. Again, if you could give me Psalms 2, and we go close with that. Right, the first day of the 1,000 years of your slavery.
Psalms 2.
You can read from verse 6.
6. Yet have I set mine king upon mine holy hill of Zion.
Right?
I will declare the decree. The Lord Yahweh had said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Again, Revelation 2, even as I have received of my Father. So we know the person who's speaking about is what? The Son of the Most High, right? He's the one who's going to receive that blessing to what? Be the first slave master in the line of slave masters. He's the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the God of gods. What? He's the slave master of the slave masters. Right? Go ahead.
Ask of me, and I shall, said like verse 9, thou shalt break them into a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, ye kings of the earth, be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Yeah, go ahead.
Serve the Lord Yahweh with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the son lest he be angry, and he perish from the way, and his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him.
Right, and what? Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. The instruction is what? To enslave these people. And the first day of this 1,000 years of enslavement is known as what? The day of the Lord. Right? So this has been another 4 things we know about the day of the Lord. Right? Again, in keeping, this is our series. We intend to continue. Right? This is the second video we did of the series. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and that you were edified. In closing, we like to say, Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakha Kodash. Like to give double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who surely do rule well. To the men standing by the highways and byways pushing this doctrine, we like to say Shalom.
Shalom.
And even unto the sincere Aqua, the sisters who sit listening these lessons in silence, subjection, and obedience unto their husbands, we like to say Shalom. This was a couple of brothers here.
Brother Hanana.
And Brother Maya Shala from the Heralds of Yahushai camp. Until next time, we like to say Shalom.
Repent, for the kingdom
Kingdom of heaven is at hand.